Well, there's one more reason for you to always wear a smiling face. And another reason is you could literally put a smile on someone else's, face by just, wearing a smile on yours. With that, welcome to the conversation on Pure West Television Network, your digital first Pan-African news network. And as always, the conversation promises to be very insightful as well as engaging. And of course, my name is Ade Suwalsui.
And I am Sagir Ibrahim. Thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Yes, good morning, Sagir. It's good to see you today on the show. All right, we move straight into stories from across Africa, and we'll be starting from the trending news in Africa right now. That's the Guinea coup. And so in this news, in a meeting with President Alpha Conde's ministers and senior government officials on Monday, the leaders of a military coup in Guinea promised to set up a transitional government of national unity after ousting the president and dissolving his cabinet. The overthrow of Conde and other top politicians, who were detained or barred from traveling, is the third since April in West and Central Africa.
All right. Moving over to DR Congo, at least 30 people were shot or hacked to death by rebels in Northeastern Democratic Republic of Congo, local and UN sources said on Monday. The Allied Democratic Forces, ADF, a group linked to the so-called Islamic State, has been blamed by members of civil society for the attack on Saturday in the province in Ituri.
All right, moving away from there to Uganda, and this one is an update on COVID-19 in Uganda. It says Uganda has received a donation of 647,080 doses of the Moderna COVID-19 vaccine from US through the COVAX facility. This donation is set to supplement the ongoing COVID-19 vaccination exercise in the country.
Well, for me, I would still, renew the call that it's very important for the domestication of the manufacturing of COVID-19 vaccines to be done here in Africa to ensure that Africans get access more quickly to these vaccines to control the spread. Yeah. We've been hearing rumors of a third variant being discovered in South Africa here in Africa. Yes. So the earlier the better for us, as a matter of fact. And for those spreading whatever rumors it is about the vaccines or the pandemic itself, COVID-19 is very real. The earlier you take charge and responsibility of yourself as well as your loved ones and neighbors around you, the better for everybody. Take the vaccine if it's accessible, readily accessible to you. And if not, continue to observe all the necessary precautions, hand washing, hand sanitizing, and social distancing, using of face masks and the likes of that. And also, talking about Guinea, we see just a complete replication of what happened in Mali. The democratic government was ousted, followed by a transition military government who is saying, okay, in the next couple of months or days or weeks or now, they said, I think 2022, or rather November here in 2021, that something will be done about it. So let's see, we're in September now, 2 months away. Let's see what is going to be said about the transition government. Now, we're seeing the same thing being replicated. However, is it enough for us to place blame on the military for taking over powers? Because if we look at the reasons why they took over powers, it is actually legitimate. Now, but whether it is right for them to take over power because of these reasons is what is left out there for debate. But in a situation where you find a country, your country as a patriot, being, plummeting economically, socially, and even in the international scene, it is having a continually degrading image. I mean, it's just patriotic for somebody to say, okay, look, I'm going to do something about this, especially when they're in a position to take over power. So I'm not surprised, not that I'm justifying what they did.
Of course. It did feel as though, Guineans are actually happy about, what happened.
Exactly. That even proves the point even more.
Yes, exactly. All right, you did hear what Sagir said earlier about, taking precautions for COVID-19. With that, we're going to bring you COVID-19 updates from across Africa right now. And after that, we'll be bringing you the big story.
You're still watching The Conversation on your digital first Pan-African News Network, TOS Television, and you could be a part of the conversation by connecting with us on our various social media platforms on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at TOS Television. You could also watch the conversation via our website at www.tostvnetwork.com. You could also watch a recap of the conversation via our YouTube page at TOS TV Network. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It is the big story segment of the conversation this morning, and its focus is on insecurity and the fresh killings in Jos. So joining us to discuss this issue as well as other issues via telephone is Mr. Jonathan Isaac, and he is a security consultant. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, my brother.
Yes, welcome to the show once again.
Thank you, it's my pleasure.
Yes, so sir, according to reports, 4 persons have been killed in a fresh attack in Plateau State. So what do you make of the recent killings, despite the fact that measures, even according to the governor, a lockdown was placed, so, and we still see a replication of this happening. So what do you make of it, first of all?
Okay, the curfew you talked about was not followed. The whole Plateau State.
Okay.
Are you?
Yes.
The curfew was for, I think, just north, the Jos South and Basa local government.
Oh, okay. Okay. Pardon me.
Not entire state. And that was what they have. They have given the bandits a leeway to operate from the other local government that curfews were placed on. When you want to place a curfew, it's to coordinate an entire state, movement of people, the operations of people within that state. But you went ahead, the curfew on the local government that we're having crisis. And let me tell you something, like we said, what we are having is a conventional insecurity problem. And not settle it with a regional security solution. Are you with me?
Yeah.
If Jos is placing a curfew on South Jos State, remember there are neighboring states that these bandits will go take their rest and operate from that exit. So they are placing a curfew on just few local governments that were under crisis, and immediately they placed a curfew on 15th August. There was another attack that came from another neighboring local government after that pronouncement was made.
Okay.
So it is not only about the curfew that was placed, but the measures that are put in place to know how this curfew is going to operate. And remember, the people that were not killed in their house, they were killed on the road. These are passengers, they were equally killed. So when you say you place a curfew and there are no patrol measures, nothing is put in place to take measures that are operating and that are not operating. There's no need the curfew.
Okay. All right, so we'll go on a quick break now, and when we return, we'll come back to continue the conversation. Please don't go anywhere. All right, welcome back. You're still watching The Conversation, and Mr. Jonathan Isaac is still here with us. So, Mr. Jonathan, I want to ask you a second one. I believe you've seen the videos as well as the headlines. I'm talking about what happened in Zamfara State and how, the Nigerian Armed Forces, in collaboration with local vigilantes, ransacked forests in Zamfara, following the shutdown of network service provision in the states to ensure that bandits are taken unawares, attacked, and even cleansed completely from the state. Do you think if the same is replicated in Plateau State, it might go a long way in reducing the spate of killings we've been hearing about in the last couple of weeks?
Okay, let me quickly start by saying that in today's operations, there was I think there was an initial plan to shut down to bring electronic placard state by state, isn't it?
Yes.
And let me tell you something. I think this, I will advise experts in the field, in the system, to advise strongly their principals that there is a need to leave the network open. Are you in me?
Yeah.
Against the initial plan for that electronic blackout that was planned state by state. Because today, both the military and the bandits communicate in a blockade. Are you in me?
Yeah.
And if the bandit and the military communicate in a blockade arrangement, then what I would advise is that they should leave the network open. Now, when they leave the network open, it falls back to our electronic system, where they need to monitor and read SMS and listen in on calls. They will have to collaborate with our military agency, because when you say you shut down the electronic
network service providers, yes.
What will happen to the bandits communicating using radios, sat phones, singers? Will that be stopped? Can you equally stop that as well? So what you need to do is to leave the network open so you can monitor their communications. Then you equally trigger alerts. Alert words in answers. You're going to what we should be looking at is a test to register all networks that we are working with. They are going to automatically trigger alert in words, in answers, in English, and in Fude that has the meaning. GPS on locations has to be automatically installed. They need to come on with experts so that where there are needs or where the definite triggered locations, they are going to inform authorities of what to do. But if you now said you are going to shut down electronic state by state, like I said, you cannot shut down such. You cannot even shut down the messenger. So the military can be using what we call geofencing. But then they are going to have problems. They should leave it open so that they can monitor who and how they conduct their operations. But the big question here is that what is the response from the last operations, from the clearance operations, where I keep insisting that we have been told that 400 sponsors of Boko Haram and terrorists are in this country or are outside the country, and they have their names. So what has happened to those names that they promise that they are going to complete? So it is not about wasting energy in clearance operation that will not give us any product.
All right.
I ways to go because I know by the time they shut down this electronic blackout, when they come with this plan for electronic blackout, it's going to affect both victims and suspects.
All right.
But it's not my issue. With that, you need the needed tonic to come out of this issue we call terrorism and banditry.
Okay, so
this is where most of it. So to me, it's not about shutting down the things that is of importance, but it's to equally have a plan that they can leave the network open for them to checkmate who they are speaking with or they are discussing with that will yield us the results.
I do know that some persons in Plateau State are calling for a reshuffle of the Nigerian army, the total complete reshuffle. Do you buy into that opinion, or you think it's not wise at this point?
I think I buy that holistically. I can buy that with all my heart. Yes, that's what I can say. I buy that arrangement, that plans with all my heart.
Unfortunately, we're out of time, so we'll have to let Mr. Isaac go at this point. But thank you so much. If you can hear me, thank you so much for joining us on the conversation this morning. We do hope to have you again another time. And thank you to our viewers for sticking with us on the show up until this time. Do not forget that the conversation comes to you every weekday, that's Mondays to Fridays. So we'll be back here same time tomorrow. But as always, do follow TOS TV Network across all social media platforms. That's TOS TV Network on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course, subscribe to the channel on YouTube. You can also stream the conversation and other content on www.tostvnetwork.com. My name is Adesu Wausui.
And I am Sagir Ibrahim. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.